Hey y'all, how you doing? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Yeah, so I want to know about what is going on with you today. I want to kind of see if there is an opportunity. Have you asked yourself, are you happy? You know, and defining that, I want you to be honest with yourself because the only way that you can adjust and really kind of go through the motions of if you are truly happy or not is kind of asking yourself what's going on. So, first and foremost, just to let you know that it is very cold up here in the mountains. It's like low 50s, so hence the hoodie and the coat and the hat. And if y'all don't know, I'm a big fan of Tigger. So, why? Because Tigger, that's why. He's kind of jovial. I know there's some discrepancies or people who feel that he's mean to Winnie the Pooh, but I just like his jovial demeanor. He questions things, he gets frustrated. He's like, really, if you think about it, one of the realest characters in Winnie the Pooh that's not dramatic, if you will. All the animals are rising as the sun is coming up. But when you ask yourself if you are really happy, you want to be kind of specific with that question. I've been working on a lot of things in that, as I mentioned yesterday, I'm resetting and recharging and reviving and everything. And what was great about it was I had a good show last night, Jonah and Squirrel. I literally was laughing so hard I was crying. So if you missed it, check out yesterday's post. It'll tell you all the locations where it can be found. And the reason I'm saying this is because lately it's just been like a really roller coaster of emotions. Now, call it age, call it hormones, call it life, call it unplugged, call it getting frustrated with the hamster wheel of life. I'm just being real, like that's the only way I need to be, and that's the only way I know how to be. And I know with certain platforms, when you're running your own business, especially on social media, that there is a time and a place to discuss things. There's a time and a place on how to. There's a time and a place to follow suit. And although that's all well and good, I just feel that I'm constantly running, either the eight balls behind me chasing me, or I'm running against the clock. For all y'all who know me, I've been doing this for a couple years now, and I have its ebbs and flows. And I know that when you start a business and when you start anything, really, it takes time to mature, it takes time to develop. And what gets me frustrated is the fact that there are tools out there that are doing shortcuts, although they are tools to assist you and it's in the hands of the beholder. I just feel that those who are passionate kind of get folded by the wayside as opposed to those who are professional. Now, before the chats slam and start going amok, passion is something that you do wholeheartedly. Passion is something from the heart. Passion is something that you put all 100% in because you absolutely love doing it. I remember when I connected with my friend, my kindred, my mentor, my coach, the legendary Les Brown. And I was listening to him several years ago, and he said, find something that you love that you can do every single day, even if you weren't getting paid for it. And I was just like, well, who would do that? Why would that be something of great feat and something to enjoy? And when I stepped into it after the world shifted, now mind you, I've been in my home on a professional scale, personal and professionally developing since March 17th, 2020. I have yet to be in the corporate office again in the arena of corporate America. I have yet to be a remote worker. This is my baby. This is my business. And when he said that before I met him and began working with him, I didn't understand it. Why would you do something you love even if you didn't get paid for it? Because I was taught by society that in order to be successful in life, you have to make profit, you have to make money. Anything else is just a hobby and it's not going to give you anything. Here I'm in the game years later, haven't met him, haven't spoken with him and talked to him frequently. I get it now because I, I experienced this the other day. I was sharing my story and talking about what I do, the line of work, how I got into it, and people were just floored. They're like, oh my goodness, how can you live a life of that nature to be where you are today? And although the sands of time are quickly sifting through the hourglass, those of you who know that's like an 80s reference or 90s reference, I don't know, it's one of those decades on a show that was aired during the day. And why do we focus on what we should have, could have, would have, need, rather than embrace and celebrate what's in the now? For y'all of y'all who've seen my posts, you know I say thank you so much for your gift of time. It's not taken for granted, wasted, or something I take lightly, because your time, your presence here today is my gift. With that being said, as I developed Plan Life According to You, press play, Plan Life According to You, the life transformational journey, I became to understand that time, when you're doing something you love, time goes really quick. You know, they say when you're a kid, you know, time flies when you're having fun. And now I'm at the point in my life where, although I'm doing what I love on a daily basis, I passionately love connecting. I'm promoting my business, my services, my areas of improvement, my areas of strength, and virtually speaking on every continent. I feel that I need to take it to the next level. And I am surrounding myself with individuals who are, you know, one of my good friends, Coach Verdu, says, you know, he learned in the industry, learn how to appreciate where you are welcomed and not focus on where you're tolerated. And that really resonated with me. You know, as I've always been AI, authentically integral, I do things from my heart, because the decades prior, when I had the people-pleasing mentality, when I had the not good enough, the imposter syndrome, I was just doing things that where everybody was doing. I was following the herd. And in following the herd, I was increasing my hurt. This is not me. I got to do this because everybody else is doing this. I got to do this because I got to move the needle of production and progression. And so for today's talk or discussion, if you will, of Wednesday's wisdom, you know, I put in a poll, not sure if it's going to work, but I generated a poll that was, are you happy? And I don't know if you are really taking the time and effort to ask yourself and really feel happy. Are you doing what you enjoy? Are you doing what you love? Are you just running the hamster wheel of life? You know, for the first couple of decades, I had followed the degrees, the suit of the industry that I went to school for. And I realized that you had to have all this experience, you had to have all this knowledge and take these certifications, courses, and tests, if you will. But it wasn't aligning with me. And I was moving progression because I was following suit, but I wasn't happy. And then I finally shifted out of those industries and went into medical and holistic and wellness and nutritional industries where I was able to, after my situation, learn that I can heal my mind, my body, soul, my spirit, myself without band-aided medication. Now, I'm not saying that's for everybody, but for me, it was numbing me. It wasn't healing me. So I want you to ask yourself, today I woke up, did my gratitude attitude routine, I shared this secret with a family member the other day, and I was sad. I was kind of like, okay, why am I upset? I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for the life I lead. I'm grateful for all the events today that are happening. Check my social media handles on what's happening. And for the relationships I've made, I've lost, and were seasonal. And I just think with the chaos of the world, the confusion, the conformity, we have to say what makes me happy. And if we're not asking ourselves every day, how can I make myself happy? Not so much focusing on the how, but what in my life gets me going? Again, I'll go back to Les. He talks about, what is your why? Well, my why for what I do is that I've endured such heartache and pain and personal suffering that was in reality caused by my own mindset and frustrations. And so I do what I do because I don't want other people to experience it. Being a victim of abuse and bullying, going from visible to invincible, from victim to victorious, is a tremendous transformation. Pushing away the naysayers, pushing away the sheep herd mentality, and completely unplugging since 2015 has been an amazing feat, but also a lot of work. You feel isolated, you feel like the lone wolf, you feel like when you see things, when the veil is removed that you can't unsee, it's difficult to have a conversation. And for me to be completely authentic, for me to be real and show up every day and not give up, crying, laughing, yelling, it's what I do, it's what I know. There was a situation that occurred where I was speaking on behalf of my personal story. And as I mentioned, people were just like, oh my goodness, that's a great story. And then what was questioned in a professional, I believe, heartfelt way, even though it wasn't directly. When you have somebody says something and something in your inner being says, were you talking to me? Was that really for me, or was it to everyone? And they said to be professional. Now, I understand that there's a component in what we do on our daily basis, especially as a business owner, passion, profession. And so I'm asking you, when you create such a persona and presence, where is that line drawn? Where is that line drawn where your passion is just inundated? I mean, I have spoken and connected with people virtually. Some of y'all I met in person. Some of y'all I met at events. And they were like, wow, that's so passionate. It's really amazing. You really have your heart in this business. And then others would say, I commend you for being brave, being that warrior, and going from warrior to warrior and shifting that mentality. That's really professional, how you molded it into an online course, a book, as well as coaching and speaking. But when it was brought to my attention, we must kind of embody both of them in order to share your passion and be professional. What is that line? Comment below if you can respond to that, or if you're going through this as well, because it's just, sometimes I question if what am I doing? I'm speaking, I'm coaching, I have courses, I have books out there, but then it's just like, well, who's it for? Who's taking the initiative? Who's taking the attention and intention to make that transformation in life? And then I'm reminded, my heart is like, well, Andrea, look at all that you've gone through. It's not like it was an overnight thing of the experiences, personal and professional, that you've overcome. If you're going through something right now where your heart is in it wholeheartedly, and you want to take it to the next level of that, of career, of business, of a coaching realm, or of an area where you want to improve and thrive upon, find someone who's doing it. Trust someone who's not there to stroke your ego, not there also to tear you down and refrain you and suppress you. Find someone who you can connect with and be real with, full transparency, and say, look, where are my areas of improvement? Where are the aspects that I need to work on? It's not easy for help. Believe you me, that has been my biggest crutch. If I ask for help, I'm vulnerable. If I ask for help, I'm weak. If I ask for help, then I'm not being professional. And I'm reminded by the late great Bob Proctor. I'm kind of rehashing my foundation, as I said, to reset and recharge this last quarter. And I'm really kind of going through the microscope of what works, what doesn't work, what do I need to improve, what do I need to continue doing. And in the video, it's The Secret, and also, if you haven't checked it out, check out The Legend of Bob Proctor, narrated by the one and only Les Brown, my friend, my fellow adoptee and kindred spirit. And he talks about nobody can make you happy but you. But when you're constantly worrying about the how, you're not going to get it done. If you're constantly worrying about the audience, if you're constantly worrying about what the end game result is, then you're not having fun. It's something of a task. It's something of a necessity. To circle back, I want you to be honest with yourself. I really want you to go under the magnifying glass, go under and assess your progress, whether it's your health, your wealth, your finances, your nutrition, your family, your relationships, your relationship with yourself, with spirit, and all those components, and say, am I happy? And only you can answer that. But I'm telling you, in my heart of hearts, it's really important for me, and to empower and encourage you to never give up. Just show up. Always show up. because at one point there's going to be an opportunity available to you. And if it's not, create the opportunity. You've heard this. This is nothing I haven't said before. But I wanted to get on here today, regardless of cold and overcast as my hands are freezing, that I'm going to give you the best content possible. I am going to go through my notes, reach out to those of knowledge about SEO and all the things of the social media platforms. And like I said, I'm working with AI as I'm authentically integrally the original AI, but with artificial intelligence and ChatGPT and all those things, I have to relearn how to prompt. I have to relearn what is the facets and formulas for each platform. But to be honest, guys, I just want to help people. I just want to be there for you. I want to be the voice for the voiceless. I want to be the face of change of mental health. I want to be there to help you turn your lifestyle into creating a legacy for others. If you're watching this, don't give up. Life is crazy. Let's be honest. Life is backwards. Life is chaotic. It's conformity. It's manipulation. It's fabrication. A lot of things are going on. But I believe in my heart of hearts, if I keep persevering, if I keep showing up, presenting, and being there, that the wind is going to change and things are going to happen. I believe in you, and it's important that you know that. A lot of people don't have people who believe in them. And I'm grateful for those, you guys, on the other side of the camera, on the other side of the world, on the other side of whatever time, rooting for me. And I thank you. I'm grateful and I appreciate you. I'm going to do my best to learn how to shift gears, how to move the needle, how to progress, and I'm going to do it. I'm learning, I just had to come on here for those who've reached out over the past week. Maybe the energy is shifting. I don't know what's going on in the world, but there's a lot of toxicity, animosity, and clawing at one another. And I want to let you know, regardless, you are the pilot, the driver in your own vehicle. Only you can make you happy, nobody else. As much as money, as much as that relationship, as much as success, only you can be really happy. And I know that. My testimony was that, and a short recent example was last night. I laughed so hard. Thank you to my boy Jonah. I laughed so hard. I was literally crying and breathless, only to wake up this morning like that never happened, and like, I need to do something. What's going on? What's the needle markers I have to shift? What is the areas of improvement I have to work towards? It's a roller coaster. And I want to take a moment, because I've mentioned this before, but I really didn't give it grace and I really didn't recognize this person. So I want to reach out and acknowledge and shout out Pravin Patel Indiawala. Probably, I want to say in the beginning of the summer, maybe even last year. Again, time means nothing to me. I have no idea what date, time. You're lucky I know the year. But I reached out to him. We were kind of having a conversation. I was sending my thoughts. And we were talking about a situation that had occurred, an unfortunate incident. And he said, life is like a heartbeat. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down, constantly. And he's like, when you feel I'm doing the analogy, of course, but when it goes flat, when it's flatlined, you're no longer here. And I was just like, wow, that's an amazing analogy. You know me about analogy, especially visual, the way I learn. And I was like, oh my gosh, life is like a heartbeat. It pulsates, it goes up, it goes down, it races. Sometimes it stays stagnant, it's slower. But when you're settling, that's like life. When you settle and you're just not being proactive nor reactive, you're just existing. And that's the last thing I want to do, guys. The last thing I want to do is exist. I want to leave a legacy. I want to ignite the light within you. I want to walk beside you. No judgment. Who's here on earth to judge? That's his role. You know what I mean? And we are not in a position to control anything. Anything. Even ourselves. Like, we can control our mindset, we can control our actions to be proactive or reactive, but in the end, it's all from above. But that's that. I wanted to jump on here and just kind of let you know what's going on. You know, everybody's like, oh, you're always happy, you're always, da da da. I want you to know, no matter what you're going through, life's adversities give you the opportunity to create your own identity. You know, my adversity was my appearance. My adversity was in school, my academic learning style. My adversity was I spoke up. I had no filter. My adversity was even in positive light, being too outgoing. My adversity was seeing the real thing. And when I shifted and unplugged, my adversity was just like, it is what it is not valid. It can be whatever you want it to be with the proper mindset. In closing, I just want to thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I appreciate even every one of you, seasonally, annually, today, tomorrow, yesterday. I'm grateful for it. I'm going to keep on plugging. I'm going to keep on showing up. I'm going to figure this thing out. That's what's happening. I'm at a bumpy road. I'm going to figure it out. And I am going to trust that everything is working for me and not to me. And I love each and every one of you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. My name is Andrea Mason, your first choice, your global voice, alumna of Les Brown and CEO of Press Play, Plan Life According to You, LLC, Global Ambassador. Check me out. Connect with me on all the media handles and feel free to enroll in my course, Resilient and Rising. It's a self-guided course. There's only a few slots left, so put on coupon code RISE99 to get your $150 discount for the first 20 people. There's a few slots left. Check out my book, Victim to Victorious. So connect with me. Let's connect, because like I said, I walk beside you every single way. No lecture nor dictation. Thank you. Love you. One love. I'll see you real soon.